Hola amigos y amigas que nos siguen a las Gigantes MX. El día de hoy estamos muy contentas porque tenemos a nuestra primera invitada de el programa, que es Adrianna, New York Giants Fangirl. Adrianna, I'm telling the audience that you are our very first guest for this project, Las Gigantes in Spanish. And we are glad to have you here. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored that I'm the first guest for you guys. So thank you.
Yeah, you are the first one, and we're really happy for having you here. Ale, Andre, ¿cómo están?
Hola, feliz de estar aquí compartiendo el espacio con ustedes y feliz de estar con Adriana. Welcome, Adriana. I am excited.
Igual, perdón, aquí tengo interferencia perruna, pero muy bien, muy feliz de tener a Adriana como nuestra primera invitada y que nos platique toda su experiencia. So thank you, Adriana, for being here. We are very happy and very excited to have you here to see your perspective from the Giants. So yeah, let's get to it.
Let's get to it. Yeah. I just wanted to ask you, Adriana, before we get to everything that's been this first week and our sad loss to the Cowboys, we wanted to talk a little bit about how you became a Giants fan. Why are you a Giants fan? To start everything.
So I grew up in New Jersey. My whole family's from there. I spent most of my life there, and my grandfather was a season ticket holder for the Giants. So I have three brothers and two cousins on that side of the family, and we all are big time Giants fans. So I think we really inherited it from my grandpa. And I always say that some of my favorite memories when it comes to the Giants, it doesn't really have anything to do with the games. Of course, the Super Bowl wins were amazing, but outside of that, growing up, some of my best memories are just being at my Nana and Papa's house on Sunday, watching the game, eating pasta. If my grandpa was at the game, we waited until he got home and we all sat down and ate together and just talked about the game and what it was like being there, what we saw on TV and everything. So my whole family, we bleed blue. We are all pretty intense when it comes to the Giants.
And we love that because actually the girls won't let me lie here. We don't have like this type of tradition with the Giants because we have another teams that are the most popular, like Cowboys, Steelers, Niners. So it's kind of complicated to have this family bond on Giants family. No sé cómo lo ven, chicas, que no tenemos como esto, ¿no? De familiar con Giants.
Sí, yo creo que totalmente acá hay otros equipos mucho más arraigados y es mucho más difícil. Hasta lo ves en las tiendas, no hay nada de los Gigantes. So I was telling the girls that yeah, it's very hard to find, like, in general, Giants fans here. What you see in stores are from the 49ers, as Danny said, like Steelers, Cowboys, even Green Bay, and nothing about the Giants. I was on a store like 2 days ago and there was about practically most of the teams and nothing about the Giants.
Raiders, Steelers, 49ers.
Raiders.
Yeah. Such a bummer.
Yeah. It's here in Mexico, it's a very small community of Giants fans. So
yeah, it's small, really small. So that's why we gather here to be like, Giants girls and support the team. But it's not that easy to locate some Giants fans here in Mexico. But we are glad that you have all this family background. It's really cool.
It's great. But it's crazy because I know everyone always says, oh, the Giants play in New Jersey, but the reality is that they're a New York media team. So when you think about, the Steelers and Green Bay and the Niners, like, they're all big cities. I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't really include Wisconsin in that. I mean, I know Madison is a great area and it's a college town and everything, but like, you could also argue that Atlanta is a much bigger city. So why aren't the Falcons included in that, So I think it's so interesting that there's no Jets, Giants, or even Bills to be found there. Not a single New York team.
Well, the other teams played sometime here in Mexico. So that's why.
Oh, they've
The
done
Patriots,
Mexico
for
game.
example.
The
Patriots,
Patriots,
they're
the
really
Chiefs,
popular.
The Chiefs
Chiefs,
got a game. The
even
49ers
the Chargers.
game. Yeah.
Chargers. Yeah, Chargers because of the Latin community also, and Packers, I guess, for Aaron Rodgers at some point it became like
Yeah,
really
it,
popular.
yeah, it's
So yeah,
kind of
that's our story with
it's a
Giants gear and everything. But
We have to get the NFL to get the Giants to do a game in Mexico, and then it'll
Yes.
change things.
That's
Yeah.
the thing.
please.
That's the thing.
it's actually weird because when they won the 2 Super Bowls against the Patriots, it was like this kind of weird effect that we got like more Patriots fans
Yep.
here in Mexico than Giants fans.
Than
It's not like
Giants
this
fans.
phenomena of with the Chiefs that now we have a lot of Chiefs fans and a lot of Seahawks fans. We didn't get that effect. I don't know why.
That is
It's really
crazy.
weird. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of crazy. But
Yeah,
I mean,
but I guess in the Super Bowls that we saw, it was just like this Brady fever that even though the
Right.
Giants got to win, it was like Brady's the best. We just
That's
wanted
true.
Brady. So yeah.
and we got a lot of hatred because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
we're
I
fine now.
believe it.
So Adriana, another question that we wanted to ask you is why or how did you start your podcast? Because I know that you started here in social media through some lives and then you got to start your own podcast that we had some little chat like some months ago, and you were like starting, and now you are having
Yeah.
this amazing success, and now you get to know a lot of Giants fans and you are getting recognized for some Giant legends and some important people in the media also. So how did you start it?
So at first, I didn't want to do a podcast because there are a lot of Giants podcasts, and a lot of them are done by media members who have access to the coaches and the players. And I kind of felt like they all do a really good job. So, like, why do I need to do a podcast? And what can I bring to the table that, like, I don't know if I can compete with them. And it's not that I want to compete with them. It's that if they're giving such good inside information, how is my podcast going to stick out when these guys can talk to players and have interviews and all this insider knowledge that me as a normal person, like, I just don't have access to? And it got to the point where after doing some research, I just kind of figured you don't have to spend a lot of money and be a part of a studio or a network or anything. Like, I invested maybe $50 to get started. I got the program, pay a monthly fee for the program to record the episodes, and then another one to upload them so they can get to podcast mediums. And then I bought a microphone, and that's it. So I figured I might as well try it. In the worst case scenario, if people don't listen to it or they don't like it, then I can always just quit or stop it. And it's not like I spent all this money and I never got anything back. So I kind of just figured I'll just give it a try and see what happens. And part of the reason why I ended up doing it too is right before the season started over the summer, I was doing all these videos where I was giving like the history on the Giants and a lot of the players and talking about, expectations for the upcoming season and specific players and things like that. But when it comes to reels on Instagram, you only have 90 seconds and that's it. And I can talk fast, but I was like, 90 seconds is not enough for me to preview the game or give keys to win. Like, I watched the first 2 preseason games and I'm talking about all these rookies that came in, and I'm like, in game 1, you guys got to watch out for Kayvon and Evan Neal, and Aziz is coming back and he's healthy, and what is Daniel Jones going to look like, and all these different players. And I'm like, I can't fit this into 90 seconds, so I'll just give it a try on a podcast and see what happens. And the first couple episodes were not the greatest episodes I've ever done, but I think the more that I did it, the more that I really learned what works for me. And I got a lot of feedback from people, and they were either like, I like that you do the solo thing, but if you could ever get interviews, that would be awesome. Or like, I really like this other podcaster or this media person, and I think you guys would do a good job if you brought them on. Or like, can you include a little more stats, that type of thing. So I took a lot of that feedback into consideration while still making sure that the podcast sounds like me. So now, even when I talk about stats or something like that, I'm not just like rattling off numbers and sounding like a robot. Like I don't have a script. I just go based on what I'm feeling. Like for everyone who watched the one after the Cowboys game, like there was some real emotion there. Like I didn't cut out anything. Like that was me in my full form, just like, this is what I'm feeling after this awful game. And it was funny. A lot of people really liked that episode and said, I was feeling the same way. So I can totally relate to you with that, which was nice.
Nice.
That's really nice.
Very good.
¿Querías decir algo, Ale?
No. I was just I saw actually the episode post game, and I saw your stories, and I saw your chain break and everything. I was just like, can this get any worse? Like nothing is going. There's nothing going good. There's nothing good for us. Like what the hell? And I was just it was very nice to like not just only hear but see you like what the hell, like I'm really pissed off and I'm gonna like curse a lot and everything, and I find that very genuine and very cool to see that perspective that I don't think we see it in different podcasts that talk about the Giants or the NFL. We're starting to see it, but it's also like we see it from guys. It's not normal or not common to see it from girls. So it was very nice to see it and very refreshing, and it was very relatable. So I can agree with the guys or girls or anybody who gave you feedback.
Thank you. I really struggle with that line because it's so true that it's just the male versus female thing, right? And it's like the emotions and the cursing, and there are very few people, and I just immediately block them because I'm like, if you can't handle a grown woman saying the F word, that's a you problem, not a me problem. Yeah. But, I kind of think about that and like, I try to cut it back. But sometimes I just can't help it. It is who I am. And coming out of that game, I just think like if I was anything other than upset, it would be shocking. Because no one walked out of that game being like, it wasn't that bad. Yeah. Like, we all walked out of there like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, it cannot possibly get worse than that. So I was just glad to hear from everyone that we were all on the same page. And I think it's important that whether you're a male or a female, like we are past the Stone Age. Like it's okay for people to show emotion and to be who they are. And if that's cursing or it's not cursing, like it's really not that big of a deal.
And that's why what we try to do in this podcast, like we are pissed off of what happened in New York against the Dallas Cowboys. And I don't know, maybe I'm gonna sound a little uncle or aunt that it's like a speech from Barbie that you can do this, but you can't. The man can do, and the man can curse somebody, but the girls can. And that's the point of this podcast, and obviously your podcast.
I love that, and
of course, and everything. Sorry.
Well, I just think it's so important that more women get involved in this because I get frustrated when I see comments. And I know that some people, especially on YouTube, like I'm not super evolved on YouTube, I guess. Like I don't really know how to video edit. So I'm new to the whole thing. And I get comments that are like, at first I was going to turn it off because I didn't think that you knew what you were talking about. And then I ended up listening a little bit more and found out that like, you really know what you're doing. And I'm just like, really?
Why?
Like, really?
Why would you even doubt it?
At the end, we are all fans.
Yes. First, we're all rooting for the same team. And second of all, do you honestly think that I would sit in front of my computer in my free time for 30 minutes at the minimum every single week and put out content on YouTube about a sports team and just talk gibberish. Like, I have better things to do with my time. Why would I do that for no reason, to just talk nonsense? I'm like, I just know that they would never comment that on a man's video.
No.
I just know. And I'm like, what's wrong
And
with
you get to hear the takes from men, and it's not all men, obviously, but there are some takes that it doesn't matter if you're a woman or a man, they're just crappy takes. So
Yes.
like, why should somebody else just be allowed to like talk crap, and
Right.
and you as a woman that love a sport are just like, but do you know who the champion in 1940 was? I'm like,
Name 5 players of all time, and
It's
Yeah,
so
Alice is like really, really. She had some of that problematic in her TikTok profile over the last couple of days, weeks, and actually we were talking about that because someone just gets into her profile because she does some general info and sports, like reels and videos and everything, not just the Giants, but for every team and the league in general. So there was a man that just in the comments asked her about what was the question, Ale? ¿Cuál era la pregunta que te pusieron?
I think it was like, without searching in Google, why are there 2 conferences, and why are there 2 founder teams? And I was like, what, is this a test? Like,
right.
why are you testing me? Should I test you? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, like Google it yourself.
Yeah,
exactly. Like, I can't with people. Like, the fact that he took however many minutes or time out of his day to stop, think about that question, write it down, and then hit okay.
Yeah.
Like, again, don't you have anything better to do with your time? Really?
no.
Don't.
No.
But well, going with your projects and going ahead with all the amazing things that you're doing, we saw that you are actually collaborating with MSG Network. I don't know if I said that correctly, with some Giants content for the season. How do you feel about that?
I could not believe it. So basically what they do is, so on MSG, you can watch the Knicks, they do Giants post games, and a lot of the New York sports team, they have the Rangers and stuff like that. So they reached out to me and they just DM'd me on Instagram and said, we saw your profile. We love what you're doing. We like to highlight like super fans of the sports that we host on our network. And I grew up in the area, so I know MSG. And I was like, you guys want to highlight me? Like, really? Oh my God. And I got on a call with them and they were like, we love it. We think what you're doing is amazing. We want to follow you to training camp and show everyone, like, we basically just want to promote your page and your podcast. And I was like, are you sure that you have the right person? Like, I just want to double check that you're serious. And they came with me to training camp. They asked me a bunch of questions afterward, and they're amazing because they had at least 30 minutes of content and they cut it into 30 seconds, which is insane. I don't know how they did it. But so they cut it down to that 30-second video that I posted. And now it's going to run on MSG Network throughout the entire season during all of the post games. So as soon as the game is over, you can turn to MSG and you'll see that 30-second spot at some point during the post game show. So I'm super excited about it. When I saw it for the first time on TV, I was like, I had to pinch myself. I couldn't believe it was happening. So, and now it's going to be on through the whole season, which is cool. So I need the Giants to get it in gear because no one is going to watch the post game if they continue to lose games 40-0.
Yeah, we're actually rooting for that to happen, and actually congratulations, because it's amazing what we were saying, like you being a woman that you grow up there and you know the area and you know the team and you know everything about it, and now you're getting that space. I think it's pretty amazing, and we all want to be like you.
Creo que, bueno, lo que está diciendo Adriana es que está ya dentro de una cadena de televisión en Nueva York, se llama MSG, no sé si lo pronuncié bien.
Sí.
Y la invitaron por medio de Instagram, que le mandaron un DM y que les gustó su contenido y a partir de ahí empezaron a pues hacer la comunicación y ahorita ya lo pueden ver en esta cadena después de los partidos. Esperamos que en los siguientes partidos los Gigantes puedan hacer algo mejor que lo que hicieron el domingo.
Gracias, Andy. Yeah, that was like the little resume in Spanish. And now we want to go to this section that Ale called the icebreaker, with some good questions to get to know you a little bit more, and just to get like this fun little chat.
Okay.
Yeah, specifically, we're putting this section specifically because the topics that we're gonna talk about later are not that pretty. Like, we're gonna talk about the the game on Sunday, so let's just keep it nice right now. So yeah, we're gonna start. We're gonna start with, who is your favorite Giant ever? You have the story, so which is it?
It's Eli Manning. He is the guy that I really grew up watching. And when my fandom really kind of turned into something versus just watching the games and, you know, paying attention here and there to really like formulating this love of the team. And the day he retired, I watched the whole press conference from my cubicle at work and I just cried. Like I felt like it was the right move for him, but I wasn't ready to see him go. So it was very sad, but he seems like he's living his best life now. So I'm happy for him.
Yeah, for sure. And I think Eli was like a turning point for many Giants fans. It was for me as well. It was just like, I saw the games and I was just like, oh, this man, like not in the it was just like, how can he just like bring so much and like, you know, make games so exciting. And, you know, he had like these ups and his downs. But,
and I guess he was like the underdog.
Always.
Nobody believes that he can do that on that Super Bowl. Well, the two Super Bowls.
Also, right now that I get really upset because I feel like they are disrespecting him when they say he's not a Hall of Famer. And I get really upset about that. Cada vez que dicen que Eli no es un Hall of Famer, me vuelvo loca. How do you feel about that, Adrianna?
Extremely frustrating. I understand the argument when people are talking about the wins and losses and saying, well, he's even across the board. Like, how can you let someone into the Hall of Fame like that? But first of all, I don't think that should be a QB only stat because it's absurd. There's 11 people on the field each time. So you can't, it's a team sport. It's not tennis. Or golf. So you can't say that he should get sole responsibility for these statistics, especially if you watched any of the Giants games, especially towards the end of his career.
Exactly.
I just don't think that's fair. And I think his other stats are amazing. A lot of his post-game stats are incredible. He's one of the leaders in passing yards throughout his whole career. He's one of the few people who has 2 Super Bowl MVPs. And outside of that, he beat Tom Brady, who's going to go down as the greatest ever. So I just think like the argument that he doesn't have enough wins is insane.
I guess they believe that he only had good luck in the 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah, it's crazy. But people forget how difficult it is to get to the Super Bowl. He didn't just like wake up and magically appear in the Super Bowl, you know? Like his postseason was incredible. I don't understand people.
Díceselos, Adriana, díceselos. Tell them, Adriana.
Tell them.
I try.
Pásale.
Perfect. So for the next question, it's going to be easier. Like, which is your favorite snack or meal for game day? You can also include drinks, tequila, vodka. I saw you were going to prepare maybe some vodka for this weekend. So which is your favorite?
So I usually, if I'm at home watching a game, it's usually buffalo wings. We typically will order them from a local place. We have a good, I think it's called Wings Over, and like all they do is wings. It's awesome. So we'll probably do that, and maybe I'll make a buffalo chicken dip. And then I love pumpkin beer. So last week when I was at the game, it was way too hot. So I was drinking like a canned seltzer or something like that, like a spiked seltzer. I like those. Since I'll be home, I'll probably go for the pumpkin beer, but I will have tequila close by depending on what the game, how the game goes. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you'll need it, but
We'll need
hopefully you won't.
tequila.
I hope not. Oh
Hopefully
God.
we're
But
not
it'll
gonna
be close
do
by.
your shots.
Yeah.
And for the last question of our icebreaker, which is the most annoying narrative that we have right now regarding the Giants? And I know there are many, but which is the one that you hate the most?
That we need a new quarterback and that would fix this team. It is absolutely the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. All it does is prove to me that you have never watched Giants football and you certainly did not watch the Cowboys game, because if you were going to put that on Daniel Jones, we have a problem, big problem.
That man was running for his life the entire game.
He got sacked 7 times. Like, what do you want from the guy? It's a miracle he walked out of that game in one piece. A true miracle.
Yeah. Okay. So now that we're done with the icebreaker, we're gonna pass the microphone to Andy so that she can grill you about what happened on Sunday.
Okay, this is painful.
Yeah.
What was the worst? I don't know what was the worst scene that you saw in this game, because I guess it's the whole game, but
Yeah.
we need one. We only need
I
one.
think I would pick the blocked field goal that was returned for a touchdown, because I feel like that really just turned the momentum off.
Yeah.
And I think that you can change the momentum at any time. We've seen them do this. They were losing at halftime. They come out and they end up winning the game. We saw it a lot last year. So I do believe that it can be changed at any time. For whatever reason, I don't know what it was on Sunday, but they had that beautiful drive down the field.
Perfect.
The blocked field goal, return for a touchdown. All of a sudden they're down 6-0. And then Mike Kafka decides that they're going to stop running the ball. And then now they're going to start passing it. And that's when Jones start getting killed. And it was all downhill from there.
Yeah, I don't know what happened in the mind of Kafka and Brian Dable and the players. Was cursed that game.
I know.
What
They
happened?
just collapsed.
Yeah.
They collapsed. Really.
And there were so many mistakes. And I'm trying to be optimistic about the Cardinals game, because I know the offensive line was a huge problem, and I am never going to dispute that. To me, that is the number one problem that needs to be fixed immediately. But they also made every mistake possible wrong in the book. They had penalties. They had the blocked field goal return for a touchdown. Graham Gano misses a field goal, which he hasn't done in God knows how long. Jones gets sacked and is running for his life. The wide receivers have dropped. Saquon interception. Isaiah Hodgins interception. Matt Breida fumble. The botch snap. Like, I'm probably not even done, and I could keep going. And
bad centers.
Right. So I just feel like everything that went wrong could have gone wrong. So if they can fix those mistakes, which realistically, we've never seen all of those things happen in one game. No. Forget about the Giants. Like, it's never happened in the NFL in 104 years. So I just feel like it was a colossal disaster that if none of those things happen again, or at the least, the blocked field goal, the missed field goal, the penalties, like if only one of those things happen on Sunday or any game from here on out, they can still turn it around and they can still win.
Thank God was game 1. Oh, that was week 1. So
week 1.
We can turn it up and we can think for the future of the game, of the players. I don't know. It's difficult, but we are here. We are standing with our guys. And the next game is the Cardinals. So we haven't faced the Cardinals since 2020, since the playoffs, right? So the hopes are high because Cardinals is not a very good team. It's maybe the worst or even the worst team
around the last
bottom
five.
of the league. And what do you think about this game? What do you think? It's the Giants are gonna visit the Cardinals, so I hope it's some good, some bright future in this game.
Some miracle in there.
Some miracle.
Yeah. Well, so I looked at the power rankings today that the NFL does every week. And shockingly, the Giants are like number 12, or I think they're number 14, which is
14,
absolutely
14.
baffling to me. And the Cardinals are number 32. So they are technically, according to these power rankings, which honestly I don't really think mean anything, but we'll take what we can get these days, that they're the worst in the league. So their offense is not anything fantastic. They don't have a lot of weapons. Josh Dobbs is a new quarterback to the team. He played his first game last week. He's only been on the team for like 2 weeks. So I don't think he's that evolved in the scheme and the playbook and things like that. So we need our defense to pick it up this week because they are definitely going to have the opportunity to get some pressure on Dobbs and to make some sacks. So we really need more from Kayvon Aziz and Isaiah Simmons this week. Like desperately need to see more from them. My concern with the offense is that Sam Howell on the Commanders last week, who played them, was sacked 6 times.
Mm-hmm.
So if he was sacked 6 times, we know that they are going to attack the right side of the line. Everyone who watched that Giants game on Sunday is going into this game saying the right side of the line is atrocious, and Jones got sacked 6 times and was under pressure 67% of the snaps. So knowing that, our goal is going to be attack the right side of the line. So I don't know what Dable, Kafka, Bobby Johnson, the rest of the offensive line, like I don't know what their plan is. I assume that they're going to do some of what they did last year, and they're going to bring some of the tight ends in to help block. Maybe they're going to bring some extra offensive linemen in. Last year, we saw where they did 8 offensive linemen and only 3 in the backfield. I don't know. I'm assuming there's going to be a lot of that. I hope. Their front line is not Dallas. They're not as tough as Dallas is, and it's not Micah Parsons. But I just think the fact that they got to the quarterback that much last year or last week definitely scares me. But I also feel like if the Giants don't make stupid mistakes, then there's no reason why they shouldn't win this. There's just no reason. They know what everyone saw on tape, and they know that that's what they're going to go after. So I just really want to see them come out and have a good game plan and do whatever they can to protect Jones, because that needs to be the priority.
Bueno, si quieren les digo un poco de lo que dijo Adriana. Comentando un poco del partido con los Vaqueros, ella cree que el punto débil o como lo que marcó la diferencia en el juego fue la patada y el regreso de patada que hicieron en el primer touchdown. Y a partir de ahí todo se desmoronó. Los jugadores hicieron malas cosas. Kafka no dio bien las jugadas. Saquon cometió errores, la línea ofensiva no protegió a Daniel Jones estaba corriendo por su vida, en fin, todo el equipo estuvo mal, y en este juego contra los Cardinals, que no se enfrentaban desde 2020 en playoffs, que le ganaron los Cardinals, en rankings, los Cardinals están en el 32 y los Giants en el 14, por lo que se supondría que los Giants son los favoritos a ganar. Exactamente, los favoritos a ganar, y si no cometen las estupideces que cometieron en el juego pasado, podrían hacerlo. Y también la preocupación de Adriana es que en la línea ofensiva claramente es nuestro punto débil, y del lado derecho es donde nos pueden atacar. El lado derecho es algo, pues lo vimos en el juego que
nos van a matar.
Que nos pueden matar ahí. No, que Daniel Jones puede seguir corriendo por su vida y pueden seguirlo golpeando, cosa que no va a favorecer a los Gigantes. Pero si Dable, Kafka y todos los de la ofensiva se ponen las pilas y crean un plan estratégico, pueden que esto no suceda. Pero tenemos las esperanzas puestas de que en Arizona podamos ganarles.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you. Yeah, Adriana, we were saying, a little bit of what we chat in English from the Spanish version. But yeah, I mean, we need. I think we need like a miracle, maybe, or or something, because my main concern is the O-line, as we were saying. We have some injuries there. I think we need some rotation. That I think it was like the main plan to have rotation on the O-line. But right now we desperately need some rotation and extra pieces on the O-line. But do you see something positive, like even a little thing positive about the game against the Cowboys? Maybe Daniel Jones' persistence, maybe, I don't know, something.
He took the hit, maybe.
Yeah, the guy is tough as nails. He deserves a lot of credit for that. I do think that some of the rookies, Tay Banks and Trey Hawkins, I know a lot of people, myself included, were definitely worried about having two rookie cornerbacks out there going against experienced receivers like Michael Gallup, Brandon Cooks, and CeeDee Lamb. And granted, because of the rain and because they were up so much, the Cowboys didn't pass as much as we probably would have expected them to under normal circumstances. But outside of that, they really had some good plays. And I know they had a couple penalties here and there, but I think that they did a pretty good job for their first game in the NFL. And I'm looking for those to expand upon it. So this weekend, I want to see them take it up a notch and make some good plays against the wide receivers that they're going against, and continue to watch them develop. I think they're going to be really fun to continue to watch play. So another guy is Xavier McKinney, also had a pretty good game. So, and Micah McFadden led the team in tackle. So there's some good stuff with the defense that I know it's getting overshadowed, which it deserves to be, because everyone deserves to be wildly upset about this game. But I think having a pretty good game with the defense, considering how bad the offense is, that means that we should expect the defense to take it up a notch this week.
And also my concern is Gano, the kicker, because Brian Dable said that he had x-rays on his calf. So that's something to worry, right?
So when Dable spoke to the media this afternoon, he said that Gano was limited in practice today, and it's an ankle thing. So what I'm wondering is if they're just going to tape it up and just really limit his practice until then. We need him, obviously. So, but I think because he was limited today versus not practicing, it means that it's not a serious injury, and that the x-ray came back okay. So it could just be soreness or a sprain or something like that. But I'm optimistic about him because he was not listed as out today, which makes me feel a little bit better.
Yeah, totally.
I gotta ask, how was it to be in the stadium for this? Like, the vibe, how I heard you said like some fans were starting to get like very annoying and very I don't know if aggressive, but like rude. So how was it to be there to see this firsthand? Did you see any, not only from the fans but from the team? You could see the sidelines. So did you see anything? Because what we saw on TV was just like, yeah, well, crap, we're losing, and it's just like, what's going on? Like, how was it for you to experience it firsthand? I cannot imagine. I was pissed off, and I was this close to turning off the TV. So
yeah,
imagine how was it like to be there. And also, just another question in between: what are your thoughts on the field? Did it make any difference, or was it just like, no, it's not an excuse? It, like, does it change anything or not?
So I think with the field, the video I saw of Aaron Rodgers, I don't know if you guys saw like the up close thing where you can see his calf kind of pop.
Yeah.
Personally, I think that was a little bit of a freak accident. I think the way that his foot just went into the turf was a little weird, maybe, because I'm not going to argue that turf is better than grass. I'm not out there. I'm not a football player. All the football players say that grass is better. I agree with them. But I do think that this is brand new turf. It's the same turf that the Giants have in the field house, which they practice in every single day. It's the same turf that's out in the practice fields. So they're used to it all the time. And, Shep and Wan'Dale and all the other players who have torn ACLs or had those type of issues, they didn't have them at the Giants practice facility. They had them at MetLife on the old turf. So I think it's too soon to tell. I think we have to wait to see how this season plays out. I do think the reality is because there are two teams playing on one surface, whether it's turf or grass, it's just going to get more worn out than other facilities. Like if the Bears are the only team playing on the Bears field, then there's obviously less wear and tear than MetLife, which I think is just one of the many problems of MetLife Stadium. But I don't know. I think they have to give it a little bit more time. The Giants players, having been on the turf for a while, said that it's better than the old turf. So I think it's a step in the direction. I don't know if the Giants and Jets owners will both agree to grass. We'll see. It'll be interesting. I'm glad that they're doing more research and stuff into it. I think it's important. Like the game is violent enough. If we can prevent certain injuries, they should definitely try. So I think that's the right move. But I don't know. I don't know if I would, and I'm not an expert, but I don't know if I would call that definitely a turf injury. He could have slipped because of the rain. I mean, I was watching some of the Giants defensive film today, and some of the players slipped out there in the rain, and thank God no one got hurt. But, it rains right before the Jets game started. Like it poured again. So it's possible that the field was wet and he just slipped. Like it very well could have been that. I think we'll see as the season goes on during games when it's not raining, if everyone makes that okay, then maybe at the end of the season, you can say it's not really the turf, or it's not the turf right now because it's brand new, but it'll be interesting. The tailgates were great. Even when we went into the game, like I was around a lot of Giants fans. There were one or two Cowboys fans around me. And I got to tell you, the two Cowboys fans that were behind me were wonderful. They were very quiet. And I was like, thank God, because I had another guy behind me who would not shut the fuck up. From the second they went up 6-0, he was acting like they won the Super Bowl. He was like, you guys suck. Daniel Jones is weak. He's like waving the flag after he got hit by 3 Cowboys defenders. I was like, shut up. Shut up. Then, I mean, it was all downhill from there. There were a lot of the Giants fans around me were like, I think people were trying to remain optimistic because you would see a couple good things to be like, okay, we got the ball back. Like maybe we're going to turn it around here. Or like we kept them to 3 and out, or the cornerbacks broke up a pass. Like there was a little bit of like, okay, maybe we can turn this around. Like at some point. By the time when they went up 26-0 before the half, I think everyone was like, I think it's time to call it. I think it's time to give it up. I mean, I saw a lot of people in the area that I was in leaving before halftime. Yeah. I saw a lot of people leaving at halftime. I think if it wasn't raining, it would have been a different story, but it downpoured the entire time. So on top of the fact that we are getting absolutely destroyed, you're also getting soaked. And I think it was overall a bad combination for everyone. I've never left a game early in my life. And in the middle of the third quarter, I was like, I can't do this to myself. Like it's obvious we are not getting better. The rain is not stopping. I am getting the hell out of here. So I think it'll be different, at the next home game, if they improve and they don't make stupid mistakes. I'm going to the Seattle game week 4. So I'm hoping by then it's turned around. We will see.
Hopefully.
It'll be interesting.
Thank you, Adrianna. Ale, ¿querías preguntar otra cosa o quieres que lo traduzca?
No. Si quieres, traduce.
Va. Estábamos platicando de un poquito si salió algo bueno del partido contra Dallas. Se mencionaban algunas cosas a la defensiva que se pueden salvar, algunos jugadores que sí hicieron algo de esfuerzo. Obviamente la situación de que Daniel Jones aguantó, básicamente sobrevivió al juego. Daniel Jones, o sea, no pasó, sobrevivió el juego contra Dallas. Entonces eso es lo que salvábamos, ¿no? Un poquito. Lo que se hizo a la defensiva y el tema de Daniel Jones y que pues no nos gusta que se cuestione si va a ser el quarterback del equipo porque tenemos a Daniel Jones y no fue su culpa todo. Y ya le preguntaba cómo fue, porque Adriana estuvo en el partido allá en Nueva Jersey, entonces, ¿cómo fue estar ahí? Nos comenta que fans buenos, fans malos, pero que, pues, como en todos lados, fans de los Vaqueros ya jurándose ganadores del Super Bowl después del 6-0. Entonces, bueno, algunos fans que se intensean un poquito, hay de todos los equipos, hay en todos lados, y pues aparte la lluvia, que todos vimos también la lluvia como cayó en el MetLife, tanto en el partido de los Jets como en el partido de los Gigantes. Y también el tema del pasto, el pasto que es nuevo, menciona un poquito de la lesión de Rodgers, que no creemos que tenga tanto que ver con este tema del pasto. Está el tema de la lluvia, que llueve justo antes de los partidos, y pues al final los jugadores de los Gigantes sobre todo están acostumbrados a este tipo de césped. Entonces, realmente no creemos, ella no cree que sea culpa del pasto todo lo que pasó en MetLife, porque sería como muy border, ¿no? Irnos al lado de fue culpa del pasto, pero pues bueno, eso fue un poquito de lo que comentábamos. Y chicas, ¿tienen otra pregunta?
No, creo que tenemos las preguntas que nos hicieron en Instagram, ¿no?
Sí, tenemos algunas que ya se contestaron, pero más o menos hay que darles la vuelta un poquito. Adrianna, we had some questions from our followers on social media, and actually you already said to us that Eli Manning is your favorite player, because one of the questions was which one of the players is like your favorite one of the history of the Giants. But I wanted to ask you, which one is your favorite right now on the actual roster? The new ones, or maybe the ones that have been there for like 3 years or something like that. One player that you see as a great player, or that he may be a legend in the Giants.
There's a lot of good options, but I'm going to go Dexter Lawrence. I just feel like everything about him, he's like one of those guys that you can't not love. He's hilarious. He's entertaining. He's always smiling. He always looks like he's having fun. During the mic'd up videos, he's hysterical. And he's another guy that I didn't even mention, but he's one of the guys who had a really good game. Maybe not really good. He had a good game on Sunday. If it was really good, he would have had a couple sacks. Yeah. But he had 4 pressures and I think 2 QB hits. So out of everyone, he's also one of the guys that played well. So I love him. I think he's so funny. I think he's a good leader, good player. I love everything about him. He's just like a giant teddy bear. Like I feel like you can't not like him.
Yeah, that's totally. I mean, there are a lot of good players and players that gave us this type of feeling, you know, like they are good friends and they have these good vibes inside the team or in the locker room. And we also had this question that you are really young, and why did you choose the Giants? But you already said to us that it's a family thing. So I guess
I didn't really have a choice.
It's here it's different, like we said to you earlier, because we rebel against anything that's been said to us.
Family.
Like, in my family they are Dolphins fans and I am a Giants fans. With Andy, I think Dallas Cowboys fans, and he's a Giants fan.
A Giants fan.
So,
I'm so sorry. My cousin who's a Cowboys fan texted me that night and I was like, I'm so pissed off. I cannot even respond to him.
But I guess the worst fans ever is the Eagles fans. For me.
I agree with you 100%.
That's actually one of the questions, like in the division, inside the division, which team do you hate the most? Because there's always going to be one. The Eagles. I think we agree. The 4 of us can agree on that one. We hate the Eagles. So that's why we are worried about facing the Eagles
Oh God.
on next weeks, because Dallas did that to us. And now the Eagles seem like they are even a better team than Dallas
They
is.
are.
So yeah, I'm concerned, but I hope that things can change.
Me
But
too.
we have history on our side. This has happened before. I mean, the Steelers had like a blackout in 1989, I think it was, and it was like 51-0, and they did make it to the playoffs.
Yeah.
So we can be hopeful that it has
Yeah.
happened to the Steelers and the Lions. So we can hope. We can hope. It's just game one. We don't
Right.
need to panic.
Totally.
I think this is another question. When should we panic?
Yeah. Now.
I know, right? I think people are panicking now, and I think we still have 16 weeks. Like, we have so much football left to go, so I think it's too soon. I will be a little concerned if they lose on Sunday.
Yeah.
I will start to get concerned because we have to win the games that we should win, and Sunday is a should-win game, and there are no excuses. I don't care if Andrew Thomas is hurt. I get it, but we have other offensive linemen on the roster, and they're here for a reason. They cut other guys that obviously they thought were not good enough. So, like they always say, it's next man up. You got to be ready to go. So I'll be a little concerned because then I know going into the Niners on Thursday is going to be tough. But I feel like personally, I would probably give it like 6 games. Because I don't want to give up on the season that early, like every week, anything can change. I also think that Joe Schoen is not sitting here saying, we're just going to deal with it. These are the guys that we got. Like, I would not be surprised if he signs other offensive linemen, if he trades for someone. So I think that's why I'm not ready to say, like, I'm going to give up. And if they lose on Sunday, it's over. Like, there's still a lot of football left to be played. There is still some flexibility. Joe Schoen is going to figure it out because his job, I don't really think it's going to be in trouble. But like, if he sits around and doesn't do anything for the rest of the season, and it's very obvious that the right guard and right tackle are a huge problem, I mean, you can't just be blind to that. And we know that after what we saw him do last season, all of the players that he picked up, all the guys that he brought in during preseason and OTAs and whatever, he's not just letting it fly. So if we go 0-6, I will definitely panic. But until then, I'm going to remain optimistic and see what happens.
We need to win this game
Yes.
against the Cardinals.
It's unfortunate that week 2, this is the must-win game, because if we go 0-2, it's going to get scary fast.
I am absolutely terrified of the Thursday night game with the Niners. I'm going to be there, and all my friends are Niners fans, and I'm going to be just like, oh my God, I'm just terrified. I'm
But if they win, you're going to be.
I do hope they turn it around after what we saw of the Niners on Sunday. I just sank in my chair. I said, like, oh, let's
And
see
the
it.
Niners is the favorite team of the National Conference. So
yeah.
But we Giants and the team, we are used to be underdogs and being
It's true.
sold to losers and everything. And when we are on that situation, we somehow we win games. we recover from everything like it's a miracle. So I hope like this is the case, because I mean, if we go 0-5, it's time to panic. Totally, absolutely.
I agree.
And there's no turning back. But Adrianna, it's been really nice talking to you. I'm going to translate this last part, or I don't know if Ale wants to translate it.
No, si quieren, porque ya se aventaron 3.
Como quieras,
Es que hubo mucho al final, entonces, si quieres, lo que se te olvide, te voy...
Sí, lo vamos.
Bueno, pues esta última parte del episodio con Adriana estuvimos platicando como de las preguntas que llegaron, que fue ¿quién es su jugador favorito actualmente en el roster? Y mencionó a Dexter Lawrence.
Dexter Lawrence.
Sexy Dexy, no solo como la habilidad en el campo, sino también como la personalidad que tiene, todo eso como un osito gigante, pachoncito. Luego también platicamos un poco sobre cuándo es el momento para ya entrar en pánico si los gigantes siguen en el camino en el que van. Para ella es la semana 6. Si vamos 0-6, ahí sí ya cuidado, pero todavía hay muchos juegos por jugar. Y hubo otra pregunta que ya se me olvidó. ¿Alguien que...?
De lo familiar, de que nosotros nos revelamos un poquito, que ya nos preguntaban en redes sociales por qué siendo tan joven, ¿no? Le iba a los gigantes, porque normalmente, pues a lo mejor aquí en México es un equipo que o estás más o menos de nuestra tirada, que viste los 2 Super Bowls que ganaron, o fans que fueron más grandes que vieron los del 86 y el 90, ¿no? Entonces nos preguntaban por eso, por qué siendo tan joven sigue a los gigantes. Ya nos había respondido un poquito que es por tradición familiar. Y acá, pues, nosotros le comentábamos que éramos traicioneras en ese sentido porque no seguimos tanto la tradición familiar, ¿no? O sea, seguimos a los gigantes más por lo que vimos en su momento con Eli Manning y todo lo que nos tocó.
Igual agregando algo, perdón, nada más con lo de Ale, lo de Shane, supuesto, no correría como tal peligro, pero si no hace nada con el tackle derecho y el tackle izquierdo, y se mantiene así durante toda la temporada, dijo, no corre peligro, pero obviamente es algo de preocuparse, es algo que podría considerarse en esta temporada y pues para ver qué sucede con su puesto. Pero también dijo que sí, hasta los 6 partidos, si no sucede que ganemos en esos 6 partidos, pues simplemente no habrá que preocuparse, pero este partido que es contra los Cardinals se tiene que ganar sí o sí, porque es uno de los juegos ganables para nosotros. Entonces, si no se ve un avance, también ahí habrá que ajustar un poco de cosas, pero esperemos, ¿no? Que todo salga bien esta semana. Y bueno, platicaron también del jueves, que Ale va a estar ahí en el juego, que todos sus amigos son 49ers, entonces ella va a estar solita como gigante, representando a toda la nación gigante, pero bueno, es un partido complicado, es un partido difícil, porque los 49ers son, si no es que el equipo, uno de los favoritos de la conferencia nacional. Entonces es algo complicado y difícil, pero esperemos que todo salga bien. Ahí Ale les va a echar su rosario.
Sí, Ale va a ser el amuleto de la buena suerte contra los... Adrianna, we're saying that Ali is going to be the good luck charm for the Niners game, hopefully.
Yes, against the Niners.
Please bring all the good energy, good juju you can. We're going to need it.
Yeah, I'm going to try.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, Adrianna, thank you so much again. We really enjoyed this conversation, to have you here as our first guest and female guest in this Las Gigantes show that we are developing to reach to the Giants fangirls out there. So it's been amazing having you here. I don't know if the girls have something to say to you.
Andy?
Thank you, Adrianna. Thank you for being here and demonstrate the love for the Giants, and you are an inspiration for all the women here in Mexico. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, same. Thank you very much for the time, for your insight, for sharing the experience of being in the game and your story with the Giants. So it's been great having you. It's been very fun and very enlightening to see your perspective from the Giants. So thank you very much.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm so honored that I was the first guest. So I'm excited to keep listening and hear the rest of the episodes that you guys do. So keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you, Adrianna. And lastly, where can we follow you? New York Giants Fangirl on Instagram and on Twitter. I think it's NYG Fangirl, something like that.
Yeah, I couldn't fit the whole thing on Twitter. And then TikTok is spelled out like this. It's at New York Giants Fangirl. And then if you guys want to listen, if anyone wants to listen to my podcast, it's called Everything New York Giants. It's on YouTube and then anywhere else you listen to podcasts.
Perfect. And we're going to say goodbye in Spanish to our audience. Muchas gracias por escucharnos en un programa más, ahora con nuestra primera invitada, que estamos muy contentos de tenerla aquí. Y recuerden seguirnos en todas nuestras redes sociales, que estamos en todos lados, como las Gigantes MX. Esperamos que los siguientes partidos nos den más contenido para no estar sufriendo y subir cosas más felices. Pero aquí vamos a estar.
Como el TikTok de dame contenido, ¿no?
Sí, así estoy con los Gigantes, denme contenido, así vamos a estar. Pero muchísimas gracias, ya saben cómo nos encuentran en redes, Andy.
¿A mí?
Sí, a ti en tus redes
Okay, como soy Andrea HN, ahí en todas las redes sociales, sí, descargo mi odio, amor por los Gigantes.
Ale, ¿qué tal? Después de morder una cebolla en su quiniela.
Sí, igual me encuentran en Ale Sevima, en TikTok y en Instagram, y ya.
Perfecto, y a mí me encuentran como la número 9 en todos lados, ya saben. Adrianna, Ale had to like bite a onion because she lost in her picks. So she had to. So you can watch the video.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Horrible.
Oh, that sounds awful.
Yeah, awful. So she has to do her best to not lose in the next week.
Oh, good luck.
Thank you again, Adrianna, and we'll be watching you on social media, and we'll be watching you on your next projects. And thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you guys so much. Go Giants. Let's hope they turn this thing around real fast.
Yeah.
Go Big Blue.
Go Big Blue. Y muchas gracias a todos los que nos escucharon y hasta la próxima.
Bye.
Bye.